saw something with Chris Jericho talking about how they're like not just going to take any, like all the WWE names that were released. I know he'd mentioned, he goes, well, we're not interested in any of them with the current crop of releases. And I guess outside of like FTR, because they were involved in that. And I don't know if he goes by, I wouldn't be surprised if one or two or something pops up or ends up here. And I can only imagine a guy like Rusev, I think, would have to be top priority on getting him into that system. Because I know Chris had mentioned something like a Roman Reigns he thinks would thrive over there, which Roman would. Roman's top notch and a great worker, and as Rusev is, and Rusev has a character and a built-in brand that I think can give them a little boost in everything, specifically the ratings. And I think, and I don't know with Chris, and he talks about like WCW and that stuff of bringing in past guys, and I do think you have to be careful on that, on how many guys. But I also think that era was different with guys making money and not being hungry, and guys getting older and coming in. I think I look at things, I think from a business standpoint, you have to look at a case-by-case basis and look at a brand, look at a guy, look at his following, and you go, can this guy benefit us? Can we benefit him? Is this a good pairing? And it's mindset, and it's an individual performer thing. And I don't think it's good to group anybody as a whole, no matter what, because I do truly think AEW, and I love what they're doing with guys, but they would do nothing but benefit by getting the right people added into that roster as they continue to go along. And I think Rusev's going to be one of them. I really, really do with that. And that's going to help them. You know, you bring a guy like Rusev that has millions of followers on social media, and say you're going to get a small percentage of that. Maybe you only get 30,000 people that are watching that weren't watching before. That's 30,000 more people that are watching though with that guy. And maybe it's maybe it's much higher than that. I don't know. But you got to look at it like that, where you could get new eyes, and those new eyes will then become fans of the guys that you have and become familiar with them. And you just continue to build. But because I think AEW has the potential to surpass WWE in time in the ratings on the Raw and SmackDown side of things. And they're just so early on. So we just got to kind of wait and see. But they're staying on top for the time being.
Yeah, absolutely. And they're still signing new talent. We've seen the Revival recently debut, and then former NWA champion Ricky Starks. He made his debut on Dynamite. I thought he looked great. He's got that kind of natural smugness, great heel aspect to him. So he appeared as a surprise opponent for Cody in the open challenge. Had a good match with him. Cody beat him. That's one, I don't know, I wouldn't have someone beat their first night out. But then again, Starks was not signed yet. He was legitimately given a contract after the show was over, and he signed with AEW. So Ricky Starks now with them.
So a couple things on that. Ricky was actually a local that I did, I believe in Laredo, Texas, where I was doing the bullying stuff. And where I walked into catering, and he was making a tuna fish sandwich. And I said, "What'd you say to me?" And he didn't say anything. And against the wall, and I remember I had to slap him with a thing of tuna fish, and the tuna got like in his ear, it all over his face. It's hilarious with that. But he was I just remember he was a really cool guy. And I ended up ran into him. He came to the gym I go to here in Vegas a couple of years ago when I was all messed up. And I don't know if he was here for a show. I think it was something along the lines of being here for a show. And we just got to talking about stuff. And we were talking about, I remember we were talking about conditioning and burpees and how much those helped me with everything. But he's just busted his ass ever since from the first time I've met him. And finally, you keep busting your ass. Not to say that it's always going to work out, but this is a case where it ended up getting an opportunity. I thought he looked very good as well on there, and congratulations to him as his career gets going and hopefully makes some money now doing everything and busting his ass. I like what Cody's doing, and the reason why, Cody's a very smart guy. He keeps himself in a prominent position on TV, and while not having to be AEW talent at the time, there's multiple reasons why this is good. It gives Cody a secure spot on TV where he's essentially can go out and have classic wrestling matches with up and coming talent, and they get the rub from So that's where it's okay with guys coming in and because they're losing to Cody for the TNT title for something they're not even on TV yet. So and they're going out and being highly competitive against one of the main guys on the AEW roster, which Cody continues to come out on top. And you could do this for a year, which he should. You should do this as long as he possibly can, because eventually, when the right guy comes in, you have a major angle right away with it. But it's beneficial for Cody because it's allowing Cody to go out there and to showcase his abilities, that he's a good worker. And because there's a lot of people that I know with social media, all the online negative fans, everybody gets shit. Everybody sucks. We all deal with the same stuff. It's just from different groups of people with it and stuff. And so he gets to go out there and kind of throw, fuck you guys and do that. And I like it all the way around.
Yeah. Also, Tony Khan has been very active on Twitter this week. This past week, he usually doesn't answer too many wrestling related tweets, but he started with announcing that Ricky Starks is now with AEW. He signed him. They were impressed. He said that Tony said that Ricky opened a lot of eyes. So after that, Dave Meltzer was talking about how someone sent him a tweet saying, "I really shouldn't have watched New Japan immediately before AEW Dynamite. New Japan is back. They're doing empty arena shows." So Dave Meltzer basically making the point. He said, "I never watch New Japan Pro Wrestling right before any other promotion. Always watch it last. I have that rule for a reason. Watch New Japan Pro Wrestling and everything after looks way too contrived in comparison." Tony Khan replied to that and said, "We've tried to set a standard by frequently opening with great matches we believe can stand up beside whatever you watched prior, like Kenny versus Pac, Nick versus Phoenix, and many others. I enjoyed the opening tag tonight too. Watch whatever you want before Dynamite. I'll take my chances."
Yeah, I would just block him. I don't think Meltzer's opinion. I really don't. It's not even worth. The guy's poison. He's good with numbers and good with facts, but when he has to leave his opinions, he's allowed to have his opinion. I don't listen. I just block. He's not relevant to me in anything. And I wouldn't, Tony is a smart guy. I wouldn't play to that guy, because playing what happened with wrestling today is playing to some of that guy's thoughts. And we are seeing what's happened with that. And I would argue great matches can't happen unless they're in front of a crowd. What's the greatest match most people say? The modern era anyways, Rock Hogan probably at WrestleMania, right?
Yeah, Rock Hogan, Shawn versus Taker, also super hot crowd.
Yeah. Hot crowd. That's what makes a great wrestling match. It's not the moves that you do. I'm telling you, that plays a part, but it needs to be done in front of a crowd. It's not. So I saw with Tony with that, it's a no-win situation. And with everyone, like we said, gets it. There's people that are criticizing your dad, that his dad is a billionaire, and that don't we all wish our dad were billionaires?
Yeah, I was just about to get those as well. But
yeah, read that one, because that boggles my mind that people. You should be inspired by this.
Right. So real quick, first, Tony Khan said that he had signed Ricky Starks. Someone gave him crap for saying, "I signed, not we signed." Be aware of what you're watching. Yes, it's a great product. Yes, it's better than WWE Morley, but it is not the same as All In. Be aware of what you are watching. For the wrestlers, by the wrestlers, it is not. And Tony Khan replied, "We never said it's the same product. I'm transparent on how we work. We have a great group of executives in leadership roles. Many are star wrestlers, and I work closely with them. And I'm accessible for all staff and wrestlers. This isn't a public company. I'm in 100% control of everything."
Yes.
And then to your point, when someone said, "Does your father give you your allowance before or after the shows when you play wrestling?" Tony Khan replied, "He gave me a big check to start the company. I knew we'd have to make a big investment in the business. It was a leap of faith on his part, and it was rewarded when we earned a multi-year TV contract worth over $175 million. Thank you for your response. It made me even prouder of what we've done." So a great response.
Absolutely. And the thing is with that, it's just people like that, it's just blocking them. Really, those people don't have. Those people are always going to be negative and criticized because it's a reflection of their lives and where they're at, and they're going to be that way the majority until the day they die, most likely. And there's a plethora factory line of them with that. He's how the it always I always kind of it's just when someone says like, oh, you know your dad or you come from money, or it was like we all would love to come from money. And by the way, they face their own challenges that people that don't have money don't have to face on a whole other level. There's everyone has their own unique story and situation, and regardless of that, they were able to get a major TV deal and become profitable or on the path to becoming profitable very early on from a business standpoint. And that's no easy task, let alone in the wrestling industry. And again, from the company they were with All In, you have to understand they're evolving and they're very open-minded. Of course, they're not the same company. They're now a television product, which is entirely when you have to make decisions that are very wise for TV and for being profitable and continuing to be profitable. And those people, you think that and I've just learned this with this people, you just got to block them out. It's a no-win situation. There's nothing, they only understand from their own level of perception, which is very low. And it's never going to be, even when they're wrong, they think they're right. It's that 2 + 2 = 10 crowd. Just, you got to tell them, enjoy. 2 + 2 is 10. Bye. And let them go.
I do think one thing that a lot of people don't realize as well is you have to get fans out of the wrestling bubble. And to do that, you got to get away from the independent wrestling vibe. And I think some fans are angry about that. They're giving AEW crap that, they're trying to be a little more mainstream product. I don't think they've gone all the way there yet. But at some point, you got to break out of the wrestling bubble if you're going to bring new fans in. So,
and you should want that because the wrestlers are making more money. It makes better they are creating a product competing against WWE, whether they like it or not, whether that was the intention or not. That's what it is. So you are dealing with a big dog that has just so many things at their disposal that you need to really, really fine tune your product. And I think they've done a great job with I think they have a better presentation than NXT with all of that. I think with Raw and SmackDown right now, they're doing a better job with that on that. And there's things that they can continue to improve, and they're going to. So can't get caught up in that negative portion. They just got, look at the numbers and the money. And like I'm telling you, and grow that number, and you're doing everything right.
Yo, thank you guys for watching Ryback TV. If you could check out my Shooting Blanks Wrestling Report every Monday on all podcast platforms, Conversation with the Big Guy Ryback every Thursday morning on all podcast platforms, and Feed Me More Nutrition, my personal supplement line, available on feedmemore.com and Amazon. Save 10% with discount code YouTube10 and save stupid. Why couldn't you? Almost had it. I almost had the whole video done in one take. New customers, you can save 20% with discount code NEWCUSTOMER on feedmemore.com. Get hungry, stay hungry, feed me more.